I want to salute you, homie, for building your own thing and doing your own thing, creating your own platform, your own website.
With my boy Alfred on itsmrtaliaferro.com.
itsmrtaliaferro.com.
Right now, I'm about to go to Walmart.
Just to see you with your logo on your mics.
You're rocking with itsmrtaliaferro.com.
Y'all go to itsmrtaliaferro.com. It's going down.
My biggest gift is my voice. It allows me to speak to the culture.
Right now, you're turning up on itsmrtaliaferro.com, shawty.
All right, so a few weeks ago, about a couple months ago, actually, right now, we're in August. In June, by the way, thank you guys for tuning in. There's another episode of Taliaferro's podcast, episode 2, and it's entitled I Want to Be Like Mike. Conversations pretty much about Michael Jordan and LeBron James. A few weeks ago, keep this in mind, LeBron James was on the verge of losing in the NBA Finals again. He was one game away from losing to the Golden State Warriors, being eliminated. Steph Curry essentially taking over. That it would have been official that he was the best player in the game. There would be no questions. It would be pretty emphatic that Steph was the best in the game, and LeBron James was going to be on that decline. 31 years of age, about to be 32 soon. This would have essentially been it for LeBron James as far as the standpoint of being the best in the game. He would still been a really great player, but if you want to have that conversation about LeBron James and championships, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty close to positive if Cleveland wasn't able to get it done this year, it would have been tough for them to get it done in the future. Golden State would have had 2 in a row, close to a dynasty. Maybe even still would have had Kevin Durant, even if they won the championship. So just putting those things in perspective, LeBron James, that ring was so influential to his legacy. And speaking of his legacy, I want to talk about some comments LeBron James made in a new Sports Illustrated article. Came out this morning, and it's pretty much LeBron James acknowledging what is his new goal, which it probably was a goal all the time for him, but I mean he can be outspoken about it now, and because he got that monkey off his back. Up until this point, his first goal was getting a championship. His second goal was winning a championship for the land, which would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. He just completed that goal. Now, a lot of people are like, well, what's going to motivate LeBron James? Why is he still working out 6 a.m. in the morning? What's going to keep him motivated to still make NBA Finals? He's already been to 6 consecutive NBA Finals. What's going to keep him motivated? And he came out in his article and said this: my motivation is the ghost I'm chasing. The ghost played in Chicago, referencing Michael Jordan and referencing Michael Jordan's legacy. LeBron James, even when he was in high school, got comparisons to Michael Jordan, which were pretty much probably unfair to a guy that hadn't played a game in the NBA yet. And the pressure, listen, so many people have had unmeted expectations. Imagine all the players who've been compared to LeBron James. Lance Stevenson out of Brooklyn, born ready. Had LeBron James-like comparisons. It ain't panned out yet. Even Andrew Wiggins entering season 3. At this point in the game, we had already seen signs of greatness from LeBron James when he was in his 3rd season. We haven't seen them signs from Wiggins yet. Ben Simmons is about to enter the league. He's going to have those LeBron James-like. He's had the most LeBron James-like comparisons. What if he struggles? Listen, I just want to put in perspective that nobody's been compared to someone of the stature of a Michael Jordan, or LeBron James, or Kobe Bryant, and been able to meet those expectations like LeBron James has. I'm not saying he's Michael Jordan. I personally still don't believe LeBron James will, when it's all said and done, will be better than Michael Jordan. But LeBron is giving this man a run for his money just with everything he does on the court. And this podcast, which is brought to you by About Damn Time Clothing. Get your clothes, your hats, shirts from About Damn Time. I have links in my description if you need to find out where I get my hats, my clothes from. About Damn Time sponsoring this blog and sponsors most of my blogs right now. And if you're interested in getting your sponsor on with my blogs, as the viewership goes up, and I'm closing in on 5,000 subscribers. Contact me. My email is available on the page. I'm not hard to get at. We can do some business. But back to this blog, I want to talk about LeBron James and some of the pressures that he has that Michael Jordan just didn't have to deal with. Listen, Michael Jordan, he played the game of basketball with no pressures. His biggest pressure was arguably him staying dedicated to the game of basketball. Keep this in mind. Michael Jordan left the game of basketball, played another sport, professional league in another sport. LeBron James doesn't have those luxuries. So when you put that in perspective, Michael Jordan didn't deal with Twitter. He didn't deal with, as soon as you lose, fans are able to come in and troll you and talk about you dirty, your family, why you're not this, why you're not that. He didn't have to deal with that. All he had to do was deal with the media. And keep in mind, it was only so hard the media could go on Michael Jordan because at the time he was still the best player. And he still was unblemished in the NBA Finals, which I'll be getting to in a moment. So his biggest pressures were arguably himself. He didn't have a viable, maybe you might argue the Detroit Pistons, Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson and the Lakers and Boston and those tough teams, all great teams. But, LeBron James, he's had, look at the teams that LeBron James had to go through, the big bad Boston Celtics. The Lakers, which even though Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Heat never faced each other together, they're pretty much, Kobe and LeBron have pretty much dominated the last 10 to 12 years of the NBA. Pretty much. He's now dealing with the Golden State Warriors. He also had to deal with the San Antonio Spurs, probably the biggest one. So LeBron has had a lot of, every time he's had a good team or a great team, which has pretty much been his whole career, there's been a great team in the Western Conference to combat him. So when we put this in mind, Michael Jordan didn't have a lot of these struggles. LeBron James is asked to be a public figure to extents that I don't think Michael Jordan would ever have been, and he wasn't. We're just now getting Michael Jordan to speak out on a lot of things regarding police brutality and blacks killing blacks now, as of last week. Not saying the man's not donating money, because I hear that Michael Jordan donates a lot of money, but being that public figure that we needed him to be, Michael Jordan just wasn't that. Imagine that LeBron James has had to deal with this throughout his career, as well as the pressures that trumped him as an individual in the NBA. Michael Jordan's sneakers been in the hood for years, and a lot of crime has been caused because of his sneakers. A lot of hate in these schools has been because of his sneakers. I don't want to go too hard on him, because if we weren't buying Jordans, we'd be buying some other shoe. So I don't want to go too hard on him. We're only hitting them, we're only knocking them and coming at him like that because it's a black-owned shoe, and we know who Michael Jordan is. So I don't want to go too hard on Jordan in that aspect, but I'm just being honest, man. His shoe's been in the hood for years. The highest commodity every year, every shoe for years, decades now. But LeBron James, the pressures that LeBron James had to face are just, to me, if LeBron James is able to get 5 rings, and I know LeBron James has a few NBA Finals losses, I think LeBron James' 5 rings could be more impressive than Jordan's undefeated 6. Because that's pretty much the only thing that Jordan holds against LeBron right now. It's not the fact that Jordan has 6 rings. Because I believe when LeBron James, if LeBron James keeps winning rings in Cleveland, his rings hold more weight than Jordan's in Chicago. That's just the way it is. Every ring LeBron wins in Cleveland, to me, counts as 2 rings. That's how I look at it. That's just me. It just, at this point in the career, the weight that he's holding on his shoulders, and I know Kyrie is a great basketball player, and Cleveland's done a great job of getting LeBron every weapon that he needs, but to me, the rings that LeBron James are winning in this day and era, social media and everything else, and the businessman that he is, to me, they hold more weight than what the 6 Michael Jordan one. So it's not about the 6 rings. What LeBron James could never do now is be undefeated in the NBA Finals. Nothing you can do to take back those final losses. So for LeBron James, the best thing he can do now is continue to rack up stats. His stats will be better than Michael's when it's all said and done. Even points, rebounds, and assists will all be better. It's crazy. LeBron will be probably top 5 in points and assists and top 10 maybe in rebounds. Michael won't have that. And a lot of that goes back to what I said at the beginning of this podcast, because Michael Jordan wasn't dedicated to the game of basketball. Retired a couple times, and one of the times he retired was to play another sport. So Michael Jordan didn't have anybody to look at and be like, I want to be like. So it kind of hurts LeBron in a way, but at the same time, it helps me make my point for the pressures that LeBron James faces. Remember this, LeBron James, Game 6, 2012. Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics, down 3-2. Monkey on the back, what the Boston Celtics were. Just a team that had given LeBron James fits and given D Wade fits individually. This is after the Heat had just went to the NBA Finals the previous year, and they lost. So now, if you lose this game, this is at this point in time the most pressure LeBron James has ever had on him, and I'll still argue that was the most pressure LeBron James had on him at any point in his career. That one game, Game 6, when LeBron had that envious look in his eyes, and he went and gave the Boston Celtics 45 points, 15 rebounds, about 5 assists, I believe, in Boston. I don't think Jordan has ever had a pressure game like that. Keep in mind, Michael Jordan capitalized on a lot of things that were happening to him, not necessarily pressure. He played with the flu, and a lot of people give him credit for that. Now, of course, I'm going to give him credit for that because that's incredible. You got guys that'll sit out a game if they got a cold nowadays. He played with the flu, visibly throwing up on the bench, and he was outstanding in the flu game. And these are just me watching tapes back because, again, I wasn't in that era. So I was too young then. So I'm just trying to go back and try to feel that era. So that kind of maybe alters my argument a little bit if anybody's on the side of Jordan here. But flu game. Getting the ring after your dad. You finding out after you celebrating that your dad was killed. So Mike had stuff happen to him, but I don't think they were necessarily pressures. Mike had more things happen to him throughout his career that are just part of life and self-inflicted wounds. But LeBron James actually had pressures on him to win rings. And it's to the point, a lot of it's self-warranted because, he came into the league calling himself King James as well. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But I'll still argue that Michael Jordan's biggest pressure was dedicating himself to the game of basketball because he just got bored of the game. It just wasn't fun because he was that much damn better than everybody. And that's why I think it's going to be hard. This man never lost in the finals. And it just, to me, the game of basketball, even though I know he put the work in, it seemed too easy to him. I've never seen anything like it. But LeBron James can now, because of the Game 7 win, he has to turn his attention to something because you got a lot of fans out here like, man, so is this it? LeBron had worked all his life to bring that championship to Cleveland. He left Cleveland, what he called it, go to Miami and go to college, and he graduated college after 2 rings, and to come back to Cleveland and finally get that ring in the fashion that he did, coming back from 3-1 down against the big bag Boogie Wolves and the Golden State Warriors. A lot of LeBron fans, a lot of Cleveland fans like, what's next? How am I going to get this man to be motivated? He did the inevitable. Like, a lot of people doubted him. Said that it was impossible for him to bring a ring to Cleveland. And he did it. He did it. And with that being said, a lot of people are like, well, what's gonna drive this man now? What's gonna drive him? It looks like he's more into off seasons now with his homeboys and vacating with D Wade, Chris Paul, and Carmelo, and it looks as if though he's not ruling out the possibility of playing with these guys towards the latter part of his career. So, LeBron's already looking for Life Pass Basketball. Just signed a $1 billion deal with Nike, reportedly. Looking at the Life Pass Basketball, looking into being more of a public figure and using his voice to impact others. You can see him already setting up things past the game of basketball, and you're like, man, is this it? Are we going to still get that same going hard LeBron? And that's why these comments came out today in the Sports Illustrated article, because he has that ring now in Cleveland. He's telling people, I'm not done yet. I'm still motivated. I'm still in the gym at 6 in the morning, is what he said in the article. And why now? It's because something that probably has been with me throughout my life, but I haven't been able to comment on it until I got that one for Cleveland. This Jordan thing is something I can really give it a shot at. This chasing Jordan's legacy. With that win in Cleveland, I now have a better shot than probably anybody will ever have. I believe that with LeBron James' overall mentality, what he does on and off the court, the lives he impacts, he's literally keeping James Jones in the NBA. He kept Mike Miller in the NBA. He literally pretty much kept Udonis Haslem in the NBA. Like, he keeps players in the NBA. Like, keep that in mind. Players come to take less money to play with LeBron James, period. They will take that veterans minimum in a league where everybody's getting paid, because they can make probably 5, 6, 7 million elsewhere, but they'll take that 2, 3 million because they know they're going to be in a position to get to the NBA Finals and compete for a championship. It's almost a guarantee now that you're going to make it to the NBA Finals with LeBron James, 6 consecutive NBA Finals. So with that being said, LeBron James, he's put himself in a nice position. Let's keep this in mind. When Kevin Durant joined the Golden State Warriors, he essentially knocked him out, and he knocked Steph Curry out, and he knocked Draymond Green out, who we can't sleep on because he was number 5 in MVP voting. He knocked all three. He knocked himself and the other 2 guys out for MVPs in the future. You can't give Steph another MVP if he has Kevin Durant. Keep in mind, his Steph's stats are going to alter a little bit. They're going to go down a little bit. Steph's going to still put up numbers because a lot of those games, Steph wasn't playing in the fourth quarter anyway. So Steph's going to still be putting up numbers, but his stats probably going to go down a couple points a game. And you can't argue that Steph's gotten better and is more valuable to his team than what he was last year, because Kevin Durant's there now. And Kevin Durant is a guy that's always in the MVP running. He's going to take a hit now. And Draymond Green was number 5. You can't possibly give Draymond Green an MVP now. His shots are going to go down. His rebounding might be affected by Kevin Durant. His assists might be affected by Kevin Durant, because you got with the abilities that Kevin Durant has on the court. So with that being said, and if you want to throw in Klay Thompson, even though he was never been in MVP running, he's eliminated as well. So you knock out 4 of the top 15 players in our league, 15, top 20 players in our league. They're now eliminated from MVP running because they play together. So with that being said, it heightens Russell Westbrook's chance of getting an MVP. It heightens the Damian Lillards of the world, depending on where Portland will finish. If they're a top 4 seed in the Western Conference, Damian Lillard will be in a heavy MVP running. He'll be one of the guys he'll compete for an MVP. I think Jimmy Butler has a shot if Chicago can make a nice race in the Eastern Conference, if they can make a nice push, if they can be top 3, top 4 seed. Jimmy Butler will be in the running. I think Carmelo, call me crazy, Carmelo, if the Knicks can have a good team with Bulls Derrick Rose and Bulls Joakim Noah on their roster now, if they can have a good team, compete for a top 4 seed, I think he'll be in the race. So essentially between Jimmy Butler and the Bulls and Carmelo and the Knicks, one of these 2 guys probably be in the MVP race, depending on how good their teams are. And both teams got better in the offseason. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. In the Western Conference, I'm looking down. Kawhi Leonard will probably be in the race, even though we're pretty sold on just giving him the Defensive Player of the Year award now and making him happy that way. So we got a lot of people that be on the list, but I think Russell Westbrook and LeBron James have now heightened. I think it's Russell Westbrook's MVP to lose. Especially if you can get the Thunder a top 4, top 5 seed, and just keep them in playoff running. I think it's his MVP to lose because his stats are just going to be crazy. Keep in mind what he was able to do a season before last when Kevin Durant wasn't healthy. The triple doubles, he had like 5, 6 triple doubles in a row, something like that. He's a triple double machine as is, and now you can tell him the ball's going to be in his hand more. Being able to score maybe 33, 34 points a game. He's a guy that forces assists, meaning he's attacking for himself, but if there's absolutely nowhere he can go, he'll pass the ball, he'll have the ball in his hands a lot as long as he can stay healthy, and he's always shown that he's a durable guy. So we'll keep that in mind. So LeBron and Russell Westbrook put themselves in, and maybe even Kyrie Irving have put themselves in a great race for MVPs. So for LeBron James, he's now able to maybe add on a couple more MVPs, be a 5-time MVP guy, 6-time regular season MVP guy, which means a lot. It's going to help his argument in the end of the day. If you got 6 MVPs and 4 or 5 championships, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. And 3 Finals MVPs, or maybe 4 or 5 Finals MVPs, that's damn impressive. But I'm arguing this, though, and I'm going to close this podcast with this. I think LeBron James, if he's able to get 5 rings, I think his 5 rings will match up pretty well. And it's not just Michael Jordan's 6, it's his 6 and undefeated, which is tough. But I think if LeBron James is able to say he got 2 in Miami and 3 with Cleveland, and you may maybe win 3 out of the next 4, meaning that they took down a really good San Antonio team that they were better. I'm pretty sure San Antonio's going to get to the finals at some point in this era. Back to the finals with Kawhi and LaMarcus Aldridge. If you're able to beat them, coached by Greg Popovich, still, and if you're able to beat this super team, if he's able to beat the Golden State Warriors as they're currently constructed, man, you're talking about rings. These are not just, you can't just say these are rings that equate to 1 ring anymore. These rings have to equate to 2, 2.5, 3 rings. I know that sounds crazy. I know I'm getting too technical with the numbers here, but think about that, man. In Cleveland, city that's not known for its basketball, LeBron created that culture. Beating that Golden State Warrior team that won 73 games last year is probably going to be winning upwards of 68, 69, 70 games this year with Kevin Durant, Steph, Clay, Draymond, and Iguodala on the court at the same time. Man, if LeBron James is able to defeat this team in the NBA Finals, these rings got to equate more than what Jordan did. And I can't knock Jordan for beating what was present to him in the NBA Finals. I can't knock him for that. But I just got to argue the facts, man. LeBron James is also a bigger public figure than what Michael Jordan ever been. And I think that hurts Jordan in a way, LeBron James, most influential athlete in the last 20, 25 years, personally. Remember what he did with Trayvon Martin. We were told it was his idea, him and D. Wade's idea, to get involved and have the whole Heat team wear hoodies. It was he started the Black Lives Matter shirt in the NBA. His voice has always been big. And it's led a culture. Remember what him, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, and D-Wade just did at the ESPYs a couple weeks back, speaking and talking about how it's time to get back in these communities, led by LeBron James. This is big stuff. This is big stuff. And everything has changed now. The culture has been changed because he got that monkey off his back and he was able to bring a ring to Cleveland. This will just about do it for this podcast. I thank y'all for rocking with me. My podcast should be available on iTunes soon. I want to thank you for your time and just rocking with me. I don't take you for granted. Again, this podcast brought to you by About Damn Time Clothing. Thank you for your time. I would love to hear comments on my channel, my YouTube channel, most definitely. Like this podcast on iTunes. Give it 5-star review it greatly, please. Yeah, I'm not one of those bougie bloggers. I told this in my last blog, but if it's your first blog, you're getting to know me. I'm not that bougie blogger guy. If you get a chance, check out my first podcast blog it's called Get to Know a G. Being clever with names here. And I tell you my life, and I tell you who I am and why I want to do this passion. I worked at ESPN. I really study sports, and I know especially NBA. I know this game. I really do. Never been good at the game. But I'm telling y'all, my mind, it's there. it's there, and I'm going to be one of the great ones. I'm telling you that. Thank y'all for rocking with me throughout this podcast. I'd love to know your comments. Does LeBron James have a chance at touching Michael Jordan's legacy? 3 rings, 4 MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs. Whew. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough task. But if anybody has an opportunity, it's LeBron James. After he got that monkey off his back, beating the Golden State Warriors in Game 7. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching my Wanna Be Like Mike podcast number 2. I am out.